Mentioned, I do want to just share real quickly that the opportunity to be able to go to one of these campaign conventions, it's a lifetime learning opportunity, lifetime experience. Not to mention, I got to go to Bermuda to do it. So it's something that you will, if you don't, you're going to take so much away from those conferences because you're going to hear so many great people talk. You're going to meet a lot of interesting folks in the call center business. You're going to learn some things that you didn't know about the industry. And you're going to learn how other people are doing business as well. You'll have stuff to take back to your call center to hopefully help with your operation. Today I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do my very best not to run over, but I do have a habit, like John was talking earlier, I have a habit of kind of talking about things that I'm passionate about, so I have to kind of try to keep myself throttled on time. But employees, your most valuable asset. Now, as I was listening to folks earlier talk about who they were, where they worked at, and their job titles, I'm surrounded by people who are managing people at their businesses on an operational level. We don't have any VPs in here. We don't have any owners in here. We don't have any, CEOs or anything like that. We've got people in here who are actually dealing one-on-one with these agents and team leaders on a daily basis. So I may not have to remind you that your agents and your employees are the most valuable asset that you have. But unfortunately, some companies, because as somebody mentioned earlier, we get so busy that we sometimes forget about the people. We focus on the stats. We worry about the clients. But we forget about the people who are driving the car. The people who are driving the car are your agents. Those are the people, and as we'll get into this presentation, those are the folks that are making the difference. And I don't know what I just did, but... So your most valuable asset. Now, when we talk about assets, now I'm an accounting major also at Trident Technical College. When we talk about assets, a lot of people look at things like property, plants, and equipment. They look at cash flow, capital, and all this stuff. They look at a balance sheet to determine their assets. While that's very important, what is missing from here is the value that your employees lend to your business. Some also look at the net profit bottom line. They say, well, hey, guess what, guys? That's important because you need to see a positive number on the bottom if you want to stay in business. Even though it may not be your business, you are having an impact every day on this number right here. Because if this number is upside down, guess what? How long is your business going to be open? How long are you going to have a job? How long are your agents going to be employed? But they look at the profit and loss statement. It's a good tool, but again, it's missing something very important. Now, some people think that, and by the way, for those of you who work for Mike Chance, don't tell them that I got a picture of his server room. No. That's the secret of Mike's business right there, that 9-1 operation. But some people think that technology is the key to their business. Technology is important. You can't do the job without the technology. Absolutely. This is the key right here to your business. I shouldn't have to remind anybody that these are the folks right here that make the difference every single day. Now, if anybody in the room is not convinced that employees are your most valuable asset, I'm going to give you some reasons why you should believe that. Now, I'm going to submit this particular design for a copyright, but this is what I call the corporate circle of life. Corporate circle of life, notice it starts out with the employees. A lot of companies think that they're at the top because they're the ones paying the employees, or they put their customers at the top because the customers are the ones paying the bills. I say no, and anybody, if you want to argue, that's great. Hey, I'm always open to other opinions, but these are the people right here. This is the top of your circle of life. It starts with your employees. Why? Because your employees take care of your clients, and your clients' clients and customers. Your clients turn around and they pay bills. When they pay the invoices to the company, guess what? The company turns around and then pays the employees. And it's a nice little circle that keeps your call center in operation. But it has to start with the employees. So, two main reasons why your employees are your most valuable asset. Let's forget about the numbers, forget about the stats, forget about all that stuff. Let's go with the human equation. They're people. Now, I picked this guy in particular. This is a Chinese farmer. They don't make a lot of money. They got a very hard job, very little rewards, except for the fact they survive, they take care of their family. But look at this guy. Look at the smile on this guy's face. How many of your agents walk into your job, your call center, every single day and have that kind of smile? He enjoys what he does. He likes what he does. Happy employees make productive employees. Because they're people, folks, they have hopes, just like you do. They have dreams, just like you do. They have goals. Sure, maybe, the guy with the beer tokens earlier, that's his goal, get more beer tokens. Okay, fine. But we have to remember that the employees have dreams, hopes, goals, and they have bills to pay, they have families to take care of. I think sometimes we forget about that when we're dealing with our agents. Again, it doesn't matter what country, what language, what denomination, currency, it's a really poor picture, but they're here because they need a job. They're here because they got bills to pay. They've got obligations and responsibilities that, no, they don't have to, John. They don't have to pay their bills, but there unfortunately are consequences if they fail to do so. Number 2, agents run your business. You might be a supervisor, operations manager, but the end game is, I submit today that agents are the ones driving the car. They're the ones, you might be leading them, but they're the folks on the front lines. Think about an army. The guy up in Washington calling the shots. Yep, he might have some stars on his sleeve, he might have all those nice ribbons and such that he's earned, he might have a nice office, but who's the ones making the difference? The people on the front lines. Your agents are on the front line of your business. We also need to remember, why are they so important? Because they're an investment. And this is just a general number, but let's think about something. Somebody has to take time to review an application. They've got to take time to interview. And who knows, they might go through 10 applications before they find one that is worthy of being interviewed. You might just get that kind of pool response, unfortunately. Then you got to put some money into training. Now that 120 hours, I don't know how, I'm just kind of basing that on 3 weeks. But think about, you got to train your agents. You want to train your agents. And then after they complete their new hire training, you're going to have ongoing training, ongoing coaching. So that's just a ballpark number. But I think it's pretty close. And I don't count the electric bill and the lease and rent and all that stuff in there. Some companies do when they're determining the cost of training an employee. Those are fixed costs that are there regardless. These are the actual costs that you put into each individual employee. How does the company recoup that $2,000? We are a production-based business. Our clients pay per call, per minute, per hour, something. But it's based on production. If employees aren't on the phones, they're not producing revenue. If they're not producing revenue, now you have an expense. Well, when you're training somebody, and again, it depends on how you've got your training set up, they may not take calls for the first week or two. They may take limited calls. But either way, your company is sinking all this money into each individual agent before they start turning profit. It could be 3 to 6 months before that profit is actually, that investment is realized and turns into a profit. So can you really afford to lose employees after 4 or 5 weeks? Probably not. Probably not. So they're an investment. How do they control your business? And again, this is kind of a unique perspective, but as John mentioned earlier, and I'm going to also go on record to say these aren't my ideas. These are other people's ideas. I'm just kind of put everything together into a nice PowerPoint presentation to give to you today. But they control your call flow. They control your call flow. When they're not on the phones, calls are waiting in queue. When they take an extra minute to wrap up a call, or they take longer to have a conversation with somebody next to them or on the phone, they are now controlling your call flow. They're controlling your workflow. They can control whether or not that call queue is answered quickly or slowly. And unfortunately, you as a supervisor or operations manager, you may not even realize it's going on. Because if you give them a certain threshold, say, okay, 45 seconds, you need to be off the phone on the next call, you don't realize they're spending an extra 5 or 10 seconds on every single call. Because that's what they do. And you have really no way to monitor that. Because as long as they get the stats, you're okay. But are they really doing the most and best they can do on every call? Newsflash, they are the first, when your clients call in, guess what? They get your agents. They're going to get an agent on the phone. What happens when a client calls in, and I have been an account manager for 4 years, I've been able to see both sides of the business, but what happens when they get, in fact, I'll give you an example. there was a client that called in complaining because the agent that he got when he called in 7 like she didn't want to be there. So the client says, hey, if this is how all of your agents are taking my calls, I don't want to do business with you. Just that one phone call with that one agent immediately changed the client's perception. And we've got to focus on perception because we know that's not the reality, but still, they're the first, that agent is the first person to talk to your clients and the first person to talk to your clients' clients. So your agents are the ones that have 100